Hello and welcome to Stitches and Starlight. My name is Tashiana, but you can call me Tashi because that's what all my friends do, and we're friends now. I'm coming to you from my home in Brooklyn that I share with my husband Joshua and my two hell kittens, Minerva and Astoria. And this is my podcast where we talk about all the things that I am knitting and spinning and potentially sewing and potentially weaving. It is all fiber madness all the time. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. There are a million voices on the internet clamoring for your attention, but you saw thumbnails. What are thumbnails? They are just theoretical pixels and stuff. You saw the thumbnail and you clicked on it, and that makes you a rad human. If you are a returning viewer, you already know what time it is. Welcome back to the Wool Chaos. I'm gonna say this straight off the top. Today's episode might be long. Because I do this every 2 weeks, I always have a lot to say. But it's impossible for me to record weekly. It won't happen. So feel free to find a halfway point and watch half now and then watch half later, or, do whatever the cat overlords let you do with your screen time in your home. There's a lot to share today. I have a finished object. I have some whips. I went to Vogue Knitting Live, so we have to talk about that. There's a bunch of yarn on the floor. We have to talk about that. There's some more spindles. We have to talk about that. I got a bunch of presents this week. Let's go, guys. Let's get to the show. So, straight off the gate, let's talk about finished objects. I would be wearing it, but it is 1,000,000 degrees in my apartment, and I'm not wearing wool indoors. That would be the fastest way to get heat stroke. And then one of you would be calling 911, although you wouldn't be calling 911 because you're watching this after I record it. So hopefully my husband would be calling 911 if I had a heat stroke in my apartment from wearing this. I finished my Ranunculus. I love it so much. It is, y'all, it's just as fun as people say it is. It's great to wear. It's excellent. So I did elbow length sleeves. So I did an 8-inch sleeve, and then I did an I-cord bind off, covering my eyeballs. I did an 8-inch sleeve, and then I did an I-cord bind off, and I knit my body. Here we go. So some yarn specs, because you guys probably want the details. You're here for the juicy stuff, right? You want that goss. You want that hot goss. I got it for you. I knit my body to 6 inches, and then I did 4 inches of ribbing. So the total length of the body is 12. 6 plus 4 is not 12. You guys already know I can't do math. You learned this last week. Whatever. 6 plus 4 is 10. The body of my sweater is 10 inches long. After the yoke, I knit whatever the one size was before Midori expanded the pattern, and now I don't know what that is. It was whatever, when the Ranunculus was first released, it was a one size fit all pattern, which thoughts, feelings, emotions. It was a one size fit all pattern, and I knit whatever that size was before she expanded it. So I think it was a 48 or 50-inch finished circumference. I don't know. It fits me like a dream. I wore it to Vogue Knitting Live. I will not put it on. It's too hot. But I wore it to Vogue Knitting Live, and I got so many compliments on it. I knit this out of 2 strands of Nutiden, held double, in the Kvarts colorway. And this sweater weighs 210 grams. This whole sweater, this whole thing that covers my whole body, weighs 210 grams. Nutiden is magical. I don't care what any of you guys say. Nutiden is magical. Unspun yarn is magical. So yeah, FO. Joshua was like, does that mean that you're changing the yarn count? And I was just like, yes, in theory, but I don't have time to do math. So the next time you see me, that will no longer say 10,000 yards, because I got to figure out how much I knit on it this year. And then because Nutiden is in grams, not yards, I got to do some fudging to figure out how many yards I use. Yeah. So the next time you see me, I probably realistically only knit 200 yards on this, because when I picked it up this year, I'd already split for the sleeves. So it's just 10 inches of body and 8 inches of sleeves. Who knows what that is? We're going to call it 500 yards. 500 yards into the stash down. Done. And I have an FO that I love, that feels like wearing a fluffy cloud sweater. If it wasn't boiling lava hot in here, I would put it on. But again, it is just, it's warm. It's really warm. So that's it for finished objects. We're gonna do whips. I have 2 that that I'm going to talk to you about. I mean, honestly, I have these crates that I got to hold my support spindles. They also make great podcast vessels because then I can just throw whole projects in them and then stack them. I was trying to get ready to film this, and I have like literally works in progress and yarn and stuff everywhere. So I was just walking through random corners of my bedroom and going, oh, probably should take this outside. Probably should take this outside. So these crates work excellently for keeping, you know, for putting, for vessels, for like holding places, for like stuff. So I'm going to show you my Heritage Harbor test knit, which I showed you last time. This is the Heritage Harbor sweater that I'm test knitting for my dear friend, Samantha Guerin. Samantha is ride or die. I love her to absolute pieces. One of my favorite humans on the whole planet. I love you, Sam. You're my favorite. So here's my Heritage Harbor pullover. The last time I showed it to you, I was just after this white stripe. I did not make as much progress on this over the last 2 weeks because I spent 1 week finishing my Ranunculus so I could have it for Vogue Knitting Live, and the other week working on the other thing that I'm going to show to you. So the last time you saw it, we were here at this white stripe. I have knit the green stripe, and I have knit another white stripe. So my goal every time I pick this up is to get to another contrast color stripe, because that feels like a good place, and it's 2 inches between stripes. So I feel like if I get to the next contrast, that's 2 inches of a body every time I knit on it, which I think is a good amount of knitting for like one evening. We are now on week 3 of this 8-week test. Every now and then I go on the Ravelry page. I've gone to the Ravelry page and a bunch of people have like sweaters on their bodies, and I'm just like, but then I'm just like, it's week 3. I have time, and I have been pacing myself so I don't burn out. When I like feverishly knit on things, then I just don't want to do it. Like I do it for a week and I was just like, so I've been pacing myself, which is why I've been setting these goals of getting to the next contrast stripe every time I pick it up. And that's been working. So I'm hoping that by the next time you guys see me, I should be at least on the body ribbing, if not binding off. The pattern says to knit the body to 13 inches and then do like 4 inches of ribbing, but that's going to be too long of a sweater on me. I can tell with like a boxy drop shoulder, that's going to be too long of a sweater on me. So I'm going to knit this body, I think, to 9 and then try it on. So if I knit 2 more contrast stripes, that'll give me like a 10-inch body. And then I'm going to try it on because 10 inches and then 14 inches, 10 inches and then 4 inches of ribbing will give me a 14-inch body sweater, which that might be my sweet spot for a drop shoulder. My other drop shoulders, that's how long the body is on it, and I kind of like that length. So we'll see, but I'm going to finish this body and then put it on, you know, cables and try it on and see how it feels. This yarn, y'all know how I feel about this. This is the North Bay Heritage DK, which I shared all these details last time, but if this is your first time here, welcome to the Wool Chaos. I'm using Sandbar for my main color, which is this yellow, and then the white is natural, the orange is pumpkin seed, this is shoreline, this is Knitpick Sport that I had in my stash that I'm holding double because I wanted a dark green, and then I'm going to put another non-North Bay color in it because I'm going to throw a stripe of pink in it. So we're going to go dark, light, dark, light. I am obsessed with how this multiple color stripe situation is working. It makes me so happy. I'll hold it up a little bit closer. It makes me so happy. I love the texture. It's a fun sweater. I mean, listen, Samantha, y'all know, Samantha's just excellent. So I wasn't worried about the sweater and I love it. I'm glad I'm test knitting it. It's bringing me the most joy. It's really fun to knit on. Once you got past that endless purling situation, it's smooth sailing. It's just, y'all, my whole heart for this sweater. Love this yarn. Love this pattern. Keep your eyes peeled for when it's done. Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for when this is finished. I think we're doing in April, a mid-April launch is the tentative like launch date. I'm so stoked. I got to figure out how I'm going to like style it. Like I'm going to put it on with like some high-waisted boxy like canvas pants. I have to sew a pair of pants for this. I have to. And then like obviously a big floppy hat, because where am I going without a big floppy hat? It's a trademark at these days. Tashi must be outside in the universe in a big floppy hat. So that's what we're going to do. So that's test knit 1. We're going to talk about test knit 2, which is a new test knit, which I have just been, I've been so engrossed in this sweater. I knit this yoke in 5 days, a 5-day yoke. Now, listen, I have to knit a 50-inch bust 90% of the time. So, like, if I was knitting, like, a 35-inch bust, like a 5-inch yoke in, like, like, a full yoke in, like, 5 days might not be, like, worth celebrating. But this, before I split for the sleeves, was 400 and something stitches. It is a lot of knitting. I am testing the Laneway pullover by Sarah Opie, and before I show it to you, I'm just gonna show it to you. I'm so excited about this. Look at this. So here's where is the center of this? Oh, here we go. I'm in the middle of Of course, I'm in the middle of a round, so my needles are making things weird. And I do have it on needle stoppers because last time I said needle stoppers were for cowards, but I was incorrect. So I do have needle stoppers on to make sure that. Here's my sweater. I'll hold it up so you can see it. So there is the Laneway pullover by Sarah Opie. I am, of course, why would I not? I am knitting mine from Handspun. So it's designed to have horizontal stripes and then vertical stripes and then horizontal, then vertical. The vertical stripes are 1x1 color work, and then the horizontal stripes are just stripes. So my main color is Barocco Ultra Alpaca. That's how we get to Barocco Ultra Alpaca in eiderdown, because I had enough of that in my stash. And this pattern is written for DK weight, but the Ultra Alpaca is worsted. I think it knits at a DK weight gauge anyway. I think it's fine. And then the contrast color is Handspun. And you might recognize this yarn. Here's the contrast color. You might recognize this yarn because I'd spun it to knit the Chevronopolis shawl, and that's the shawl that I was having all those like feelings about with the superwash yarn, and it was giving me feelings, and so I didn't like it. So I was not working on that project, and I was like, should I just put it with another main color? And it's been languishing, so when the opportunity to test knit this came out, I was like, well, maybe I'll just put that yarn to use in a sweater. I am so glad I did. These color transitions are just, here you go. These color transitions are killing me. So if this is the first time you've seen this yarn, this is a combo spin of Overcast and Hush Stillness on BFL by Three Waters Farm. So if you want to kind of reproduce this, it's 2 different colorways that I put together. One of my favorite things to do when I want a bigger spin is to just take 2 colorways on the same fiber and mash them up. So I did 1 ply of Hush Stillness spun end to end without splitting, and then I did 1 ply of Overcast, because Overcast is the one that had like the brighter teals and the lime greens, and I split that 4 times and then did another bobbin with those end to end. So the Hush Stillness repeats were really, really, really long because I didn't split it at all, and the Overcast repeats were shorter, which gives me this fun color changing yarn. This one here, this section right here, is my favorite in the entire sweater. I love that it goes from that minty blue green to this purple right here, and then it just fades back into these warm colors. I'm obsessed. This is going to need obviously a really solid blocking, just because my hands, I mean, it's hand spun, so like as much as you try to make it as regular as possible, it's hand spun, so there's going to be some irregularities. So this is going to need a solid blocking, but I might actually steam block. I should have steam blocked it before I started filming so you could see the best of me, but again, why? So this is going to need a solid blocking. I am super excited about it because it's alpaca and BFL. It's so soft, and it has the like slightest halo from the alpaca in the yarn. So the sweater is kind of fuzzy. The colors are just perfect. The sweater's going along swimmingly. I'm knitting the medium yoke version, so it has an 11-inch yoke, so it's kind of deep, but it's not like deep. It's just not like, you know, the normal 9-inch yoke I'm used to knitting, but we're not in like full-on Swancho territory. And what I love about the sweater is you can customize the yoke. You can customize how much color work you could do. It's short sleeve, long sleeve. It's pretty much like a choose your own adventure pattern, and it's written beautifully. Yeah, I cannot say enough good things about my Laneway sweater. I'm so excited about this. So this is a week of knitting, which I'm very proud of because this is a lot of knitting to do in a week. I think I'm going to take 1 week and work on this, and then take 1 week and work on my Heritage Harbor because they're both 8-week tests. I imagine that in like, with how this went, in another week I might be done with the body of this because I'm thinking an 8-inch body and keeping it kind of cropped. I really like the length of my Ranunculus, I gotta say. It's a pretty cropped sweater, and I really like the length of my Ranunculus, which is a 10-inch body. So I think I might do like 8 to 10 inches of body and then do 2 inches of ribbing, which is how long my Wild Joy sweater is. My Wild Joy sweater is a 12-inch body. Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out yoke depth and length and how things work on me, which is the cool thing about working top down is you can just, you know, try things on and figure out how you feel about them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 8 inches and then put it on and see if I want to keep going from there, if I want to switch to the ribbing. And my plan is to knit the body and then see how much yarn I have to do. I'm doing the full colorwork version. I'm going as much colorwork as I can. The sample has a colorwork stop, and then the bottom is just plain stockinette, but we're going full on. I have this much of my contrast color, and then I have a whole nother skein of 250 yards of it. So I'm pretty sure I have more than enough to knit the body and knit colorwork sleeves. We will see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I have enough. I'm obsessed. That's it. That's all I want to say about this is it's beautiful. I love it. I'm obsessed. I have not been doing as much spinning these last 2 weeks because, again, furiously knitting my Ranunculus to get it ready for Vogue Knitting Live and then knitting this. Work has just been a lot. So if you're new here, I'm a nurse and work has just been a lot. And so I have not really been like feeling like sitting at my wheel, which is why I'm very grateful for my support spindles because I can take them into bed with me and just do like a few makes and then like settle down. But knitting's been really good because I can knit in bed while we're watching TV. So I have not been doing much spinning. So I don't have any. I have one spinning whip that's on my wheel that I forgot to bring it out, but it's a baby whip. I have not made any real progress into it. I'll show it to you next time. Hopefully next time I'll have yarn to show you, but I have not been, wheel spinning. I've been doing a fair amount of spindle spinning, but also on the projects that you already saw me working on. So I don't know if, I don't think I'll pull those out. Just in the interest of time, this is already going to be long enough. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to pull out all my support spindle projects. Next time, hopefully I'll have some like significant progress on them and then I'll show them to you. But in terms of order of operations, I'm trying to decide what we should do next. Because this is all acquisitions, it's just different kinds of acquisitions. Let's talk about what spindles came home over the last 2 weeks. Let's do that first. So even though I showed you 100 spindles last time, I didn't show you 100, but it might as well have been. Even though I showed you 100 spindles last time, there are some more. There were a few that I was waiting for the last time we chatted, and then there were a few that I found. So each of them have excellent stories. We'll do the 2 that I was waiting for the last time. I don't even know what to do with these. I'm putting them in my lap. You're just hearing them clank around. It's a party. Please stay there. So these are the 2 that I was waiting for. The last time I told you I had 2 on order from Australia at the Spindle shop. So these are the 2. I got, Lord, I feel like I should know what wood's in these so I can do them justice, but I don't. So we're just going to appreciate how pretty they are. So this is his Russian teardrop style. And then this is the reverse cone style. And just how beautiful are these? How beautiful. I cannot stand how pretty they are. I got 2 different styles because I'm learning the more I spin that I like a faster spindle, but a longer spin. So some of my heavier Tibetans that don't have metal tips, that don't spin very fast, are not going to stay with me much longer. So those will get destashed and those will get sent to, other homes, but these are supposed to be pretty fast. Russians in general are going to be pretty fast. And also they're just, look at them. They're beautiful. So I got these 2 to try. I love the color in this. I don't have any light spindles, so these are beautiful. So these are 2 of the ones that I was waiting on. What else? So here is, this goddess is called Midas Touch. And this is the only goddess that I got directly from Mizpah herself. She was cleaning at her home and she found 5 more goddesses that had not sold. And I just happened to be on Ravelry when she had posted about these. And it felt, I have very strong feelings about it being gold, which we will not go into that story. It's a very long story. But it felt really special to get one from Mizpah directly. As much as my other goddesses, I absolutely love them, it is a treat to have one directly from the maker. So she's special. So just look at how pretty she is. She's just gold and shiny. Melody was telling me that I need to do a full-on photo shoot and hold her up to the sunlight, which I might do at some point because it appeals to my vanity and my sense of extra. So that might have to happen. Okay, so I have wanted some ninja. Oh God, I have to keep reminding myself that I've only been able to spin on a support spindle for 4 weeks. So when I say things that I've wanted this for some time literally means a week and a half. So it's all relative. Just take everything I say with a grain of salt. I exaggerate. Onomatopoeias are my default language. There we go. I've wanted some ninjas from Spanish Peacock and my girl Melody. Shout out to Pacific Coaster Fiber. She is the realest MVP. My girl Melody was doing overtime hunting and happened to catch them on a shop update literally as soon as they went up. So I have 2 ninjas from Spanish Peacock. This one has yarn on it because I could not resist spinning on it. So this one has a Coco Bolo whirl. So here's this one. And it has a Coco Bolo whirl. And then this one has a boxwood whirl, but the shaft is green, and I was just ugh! Just how beautiful is that? I cannot resist anything that is green. It's, as much as I abhor J.K. Rowling and I have very strong feelings about her as a human being and how, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. Very strong feelings. I can't quit being obsessed with the color green. It's just my formative years. I have just been obsessed with House Slytherin, and so it's very hard to quit those things. So anything green is my weakness. And then there are these two from Woodland Handcrafts. Look at this, like a birdhouse, guys. Look at, there's a little bird in it. Where's the bird? So you can't see that on camera, but in the little hole, there is a bird. This is, I don't even know what kind of spindle this would be considered. I guess this would be like a bottom weighted, like it's not really a Tibetan, not really a Russian, but because it's bottom weighted, it spins really fast and really long. And also there's a bird in it. There's a bird in the spindle. Yeah, just a little blackbird. And then I got him a little owl friend to match. So where's my little owl friend? There he is. Again, if you know anything about me, I have a bird problem. I'm just generally obsessed with like avian creatures. I'm not like Brennan Lee Mulligan bird facts obsessed, but love a good bird. So bird friends on spindles to make yarn. And then this spindle, no, don't fall. Stay there. This is a spindle that I thought helped me achieve spindle nirvana. So I got this on DStash. And when I opened the package, I like I did. I shed a tear. It is just, you guys ready? Here, look at just how pretty. It's everything I could ever want or dream or need. So this is also by Woodland Handcrafts, and he makes these dragon eggs. Oh my goodness, you guys, hold on. Look at her go. Wow, she just goes, excuse me. So this is by Woodland Handcrafts, and he makes the dragon eggs in various colors, and he's had like red ones in the last few shop updates. And I was telling Melody that I wanted one, and she was like, no, I saw a green one on DStash. And I was like, they make them in green? How did I not know they make them in green? Now I have it. I mean, do I need anything else after this? No. I mean, let's be honest, did I need anything before it? But do I need anything else after this? Like, my life is made. Precious. My precious. I mean, when I go to DStash, this one will be buried with me. That's it. Mine. Forever. So in addition to spindles, I've had a very good mail week. I am very blessed and very fortunate. Let me say that straight off the top. Very blessed and very fortunate to have some excellent friends in the fiber community. People who like share their own bounties. And a bunch of people have sent me wool to play with in the last 2 weeks, which I was just like, because again, work has been an absolute nightmare. Like, there are no words for it. It has been terrible. It has made me contemplate quitting my job every day. And so coming home to Happy Mail that like I didn't pay for. I mean, yes, coming home to mail that you paid for is nice, but when you don't pay for it, it's like extra nice. So coming home to mail that I didn't pay for these 4 different days, extra special. So we will talk about what I got. I'm just going to pick up boxes. So Sarah raises sheep, and I'm always like commenting, like I DM her when I see her out with her flock, and I was like, oh, look at those sheep. Oh, you look so nice. Oh, look at you having fun with the sheep. And she offered to send me a bump of cheviot from her flock, which I've never spun. I've never processed, like I've never had a cheviot fleece or processed cheviot. The cheviot that I'm spinning right now is top, and that's my first time spinning it. So she sent me a bump of roving from her flock. So Sarah does have a website, which I will put in the description box. It's San Juan Wool Works. But just look at this. Just fluffy little cloud of cheviot wool. And then not only did she send me like the wool, she sent me like tips on how to spin it. It is delightful. I know a lot of people spin cheviot for socks. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to spin my default yarn. And then it's really nice. It's really soft. I don't have thoughts yet. I'm just going to spin it. I don't think I'm going to spin it for socks though. I think I want to do something special with this. It's really soft. It's squishy. I'm just going to sit here and molest wool for 5 minutes. This is a delight. Thank you so much, Sarah. This is so kind of you. She also sent me the like sweetest card. I was just deep in my feelings when I got that package. So there's that one. My friend Ashley, who knows about me and the fine wools and the Rambouillet being my nemesis, sent me a bag of Targhee Rambouillet fleece that she had already scoured for me to play with in the hopes that maybe it wouldn't be my nemesis anymore. And we've been getting along just fine. So I'll show you a little bit of this. I love that it was scoured already because I didn't have to do any work. So I'll send you a little, I'll show you this. Here's the fleece. So here's a little lock of this Targhee Rambouillet cross. It's grown by Ranching Traditions. Yeah, Ranching Tradition fiber out in Montana. And I've already combed up half the bag. So here's the combed fleece. So I've combed up half the bag. Oh, Lord, it's just looking like white clouds. I'll pull a little bit out. That's what I'll do. Here we go. Hand comb top is fun. My Lord, I'm just trying to get a little bit out so I can show it to you. Here's a better piece. Okay, it's just falling apart. Yeah, so I've already combed up. I've combed up half the bag. She sent me 6 ounces. There is a lot of combing waste because you're combing a fine wool, which you expect. But here's like some of the hand comb top. There's nothing like hand process wool, you guys. Like if you spin and you're spinning comb top and you get the chance to process it yourself, nothing like it. So I've already combed up half, and I've gotten some of it on my Stephen Willett. Have you guys seen this one? I don't know. Here you go. Here's a tip on this. I honestly don't know if I've shown this to you. So here we go. Here's what it looks like. I've gotten a little bit of it on my spindle already. So here's what it looks like on the spindle. I thought I was going to, I'm pretty sure I'm going to spin this whole thing on my spindle because with it being a fine wool, there's only like 50% yield. So I'm probably only going to end up with 3 ounces of comb top, which I could spin across a few spindles. So I'm spinning that on, that's one of my spindle projects that's new. You haven't seen that yet. Have you? I don't think so. So I'm spinning that on, I'm going to spin that across my spindles. I think I'm going to spin it across all my glass spindles because I have 3. So if I could fit an ounce on each one, I could spin it on all my glass spindles. And if I can't fit an ounce on each one, then I'll just put the extra on something else. But I definitely think I'm going to like use my glass spindles for that because I think that would be really pretty. But that fleece is a delight. I don't know if it's enough of a delight for me to get a whole one, but like half, maybe. Somewhere down the line, sure. It's been fun. I forgot how much fun combing is. I've been carding all the wool that I've been processing, and I forgot how much fun combing is, and combing that's really nice. I like set up my lock pop. I go pop, pop, pop. I pop my locks, and then I put it on my comb. I go comb, comb, comb. And then I put it on my hackle, and I go diz, diz, diz. And then I get comb top. And that's how you do it. That's, in case you ever wanted to know, that's how you make it happen. So there's that. More presents. My friend Brittany, who raises a flock of Finn sheep. I'm obsessed with Brittany. I'm obsessed. And every time she posts pictures of her like yarn she's made from her sheep, I'm always just like, Brittany, you're living the dream. Like, so nice. So Brittany asked if she could send me some wool from her sheep. And I was expecting like a 4-ounce bump. And Brittany sent me a Finn rainbow. And you guys, the way my like jaw dropped, she literally sent me a Finn rainbow of all her sheep. Look at how, guys, look at how beautiful. How beautiful, how gorgeous. Just, so these are processed at Skagit, I don't know how you say it. It's a mill, Skagit mill. And she told me like the name of all the sheep that they came from. And I have her card inside. I don't have the card with me, but like, she was like, this one's this sheep, and this is Agnes, and this, I'm pretty sure one of the sheep's name is Agnes, and I hope I'm not making that up. Pretty sure one of the sheep's name is Agnes. But what I thought would be fun, no, come back. Do not escape. What I thought would be fun is to maybe do like a natural shades color work project. Because there's at least 3 ounces in each of these, if not 4. And if it is 4 ounces, that's 20 ounces of fiber. But I think it's like maybe 3. I should check the card. I mean, listen, there's notes. There's at least 10 ounces here. I'm confident that there's at least 10 ounces here, which would be enough for a color work project. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin these all into a 2-ply yarn, obviously woolen, obviously a woolen 2-ply yarn, and then see what yardage I get, and then maybe do like a color work project. Put them all in the same project. They just, oh my God, I just want to keep holding them. They're so soft. Ugh. I can't. They're so beautiful. I'm going to keep them on my lap for a little bit and pet them for a few more seconds. And then not only did Brittany send me yarn from her flock, send me fleece from her flock, she sent me hand spun. And this is her Finn mixed with the Angora rabbit that she raises. It's the most precious package like ever. It's such a delight. I have been trying to, I think I've asked Brittany twice if she plans on selling her fleece when we had just started chatting, because I'm that person who like sees someone with sheep and gets in their DMs and goes, how do I buy some of that? And I knew Brittany wasn't interested in like, you know, selling. Like she raises her sheep because she raises her sheep because she wants to, and not for the like the business aspect of this. So the fact that she was like generous enough and kind enough to share fleece from her flock with me, just gets me right in the heartstrings. And then on top of that, it's already prepped. I don't have to do any work. I can just spin it. I'm so excited to get into that package. I'm so excited to get into the Cheviot. There's just so much good wool mess on this floor. And I'll show you the last package. So the last package is also from Brittany, but a different Brittany. This is from Brittany of Crux Fibers out in the Yukon. I like to say she lives in the wilds of Canada. And the other day I realized that I wasn't being glib or tongue-in-cheek. She really does live in the wilds of Canada. I was watching her stories and I was just like, you literally live in the wilds. It's excellent. So Brittany spins the fleece from this flock. I think it's crocus. It's by Sierra. And Sierra raises Gotland Blueface Leicester crosses. And I was talking to Brittany about her sheep and about Sierra. And she was like, well, I have a little bit of Nora and Torfall's fleece left. And if you follow Brittany, you've probably heard her mention those two sheep names because she's been spinning their fleece like almost every year. And so not only did she send me some wash fleece, it's already picked and like just ready to go on the carder. So I think this is Torfall. Again, I should have brought my notes outside. So here's Torfall's fleece, which, oh my God, it's a delight. Look at that. It's just, it's a delight. It's already picked, like I said, ready to go on the carder. If I was really brave, I would try to spin it from the cloud, but I'm not. Guys, the radiator, the clanking, it happens. If I was brave enough, I would try to spin it from the cloud, but I'm not brave enough. But it's beautifully open. It's so soft. You guys, if you can't, I mean, do not discount long wools. Do not discount Gotland. It's just, I mean, I know it's not like, you know, your Merino, Rambouillet, Targhee, blah, blah, blah. But there's just something special about fleece like this. Beautifully soft. Look at that color. I kind of want to pull my carder out right now and get this on my carder, honestly. I kind of want to get it on my carder. So there's that. And then she sent me a little bit. Also, I love these bags. They say created in the Yukon, which branding, excellent, most excellent. And I think this is Nora. Oh, the card's right here. Okay. Nora is the light gray. So Nora is the light gray. So here's Nora. Just, again, I love just a big old sheet of fiber that, oh God, I want to get into this tomorrow. There's so many fleeces, so little time is what my life story. When I write the memoir of my life, it's just going to be called So Many Fleeces, So Little Time, because I want to do all of it. I mean, that is just, it's like cotton candy soft, beautifully scoured. Like there's no VM in this. I kind of want a fleece from Sierra. Just excellent. Just excellent wool. Excellent wool. Thank you so much, Brittany. I'm prepping a care package to send back to Brittany. Some stuff from Nystock. I thought it would be fun to, because Brittany's big thing is low mileage wool, which is knowing, like making sure that your wool is traceable and knowing where it comes from. And Nystock is right in New York. So I'm going to send her some wool from Nystock Farms, since she sent me some wool from the Yukon. So I'm sending her things. I mean, Robin is not 50 miles from me, but she might be 75 miles from me. So we're still within the 100-mile like marker. So I'm prepping a care package of some stuff from Nystock to send back to her so she can spin like New York wool while I spin fun Yukon wool. I'm looking at it all on the floor and it makes me so happy. So much joy, so much wool joy. So much wool joy. Okay, so that's the spindles, that's the fleece. Let's talk about Vogue knitting on. with my friend Sam. I've told Sam she's officially my friend Sam every time I talk about her. Like, other people know who Samantha Guerin is. Like, I don't need to preface every time I talk about her with my friend Sam, but she is my friend Sam. So, like, every time I talk about her, that is her title. That is officially her name. Her name is my friend Sam. So Sam came in from Connecticut with Jocelyn, her friend Jocelyn, who I got to spend the day with, which was an absolute treat. And we spent the day Saturday at Vogue Knitting Live. And I was not going to go because, one, I didn't know about it. I felt like you live under a rock, Tashiana. How did you not know? And then I was watching people's stories, and Andrea at the Knitting PT was like, I'm coming to New York. And I was like, hold on, you're coming to my city and we're not hanging out? No, absolutely not. What? Absolutely not. So, Sam and I hung out at Vogue Knitting Live on Saturday, and I had the best time. We will get to the yarn, but I had the best time. At one point, I got to meet Kayla at the Marissa Made podcast, who is just as beautiful and as amazing in person as she is online, you guys. I had stars in my eyes. I was talking to someone, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I was talking to someone, and I saw her, and I, like, shouted her name, and she shouted my name, and we almost had, like, is it the Notebook where, like, they run at each other, she, like, jumps in his arms, like, full on. We almost had, like, a Notebook moment where I was, like, halfway down an aisle and I, like, sprinted at her and I was just like, Kayla! Literally stars in my eyes. I got to meet her. It was a delight. I met Andrea at the Knitting PT, who, just a beautiful human. I got to meet Salt Lake Knitty. I'm obsessed with Megan at Kimchi & Co. If you follow me on Instagram, you know this. I'm obsessed with her. Her style is just... And then I got to meet Aro. I have Aro Knits and Pearls. I got so many people I got to meet. That was amazing. But I will tell you, the best part was how many of you found me, which I would just say right now is surreal. It is surreal to just be walking and, like, buying yarn and, with your big floppy hat with your best friend, and people just going, Tashi, is that you? And I'm just like, who is this person who knows my name? And then it's just all of you guys. So 100%, thank you so much to all of you who found me and came up and said hi. Y'all, I was literally crying in the Mota booth. They say there's no crying in the club. I was crying in the club. So many of you came and said hi. It was so nice to meet you guys, to give you guys all hugs. Someone, oh God, I'm blanking. But, like, someone showed me her first skein of handspun that she started spinning because she watched the channel. And I was just, again, full on hysterical, like, snotty tears. Because I started the channel because I wanted to talk to a bunch of strangers on the internet about yarn. But I also started the channel because I wanted to, again, demystify spinning and make this craft seem more approachable and accessible for people. And the fact that the wool empire continues to persist and is growing every single day, one, greatly appeals to my vanity, but two, means that the work that I'm doing is, like, working, I guess. There's probably a better way to say that than I did, but, buckle up, Buttercup. Who cares? So there's that. So I got to meet a lot of you, which was super joyful. Now that I'm sitting here and I'm like, I got to meet this person, I'm drawing a blank on all the people I got to meet. So, like, if I didn't say your name, it's not because you weren't important. It's because now that I'm thinking about the day, I'm just smiling too big and I can't think straight. Yeah, I can't think straight. So on Saturday, I did most of the damage. I will show you the yarn. And then I wasn't going to go back. But then I got home on Saturday and my friend Judy, hi Judy, I know Judy watches, Judy and I played D&D together. Judy was like, I'm going back to VKL tomorrow. And I was just like, well, I'm also going back to VKL tomorrow. She was like, you can meet my fiber friend. And so I went back to VKL on Sunday with zero intentions of going on Sunday. And then I got to hang out with a bunch of other people. So I got to meet Aimee of La Bien Aimee. Oh my God, her neons and neutrals fashion show, you guys. The samples in that. Ooh, child, just beautiful. I got to meet, who else? Oh, I met the lovely people at Knitting Posse and Needles at the Ready, which I watched Needles at the Ready. I met the guys and I was just like, you guys look really familiar. It's one of those things where you see people and you're like, I know your face. Why do I know your face? And then I got to meet the lovely ladies at Knitting Posse, and it was excellent. It was a great weekend. But yeah, if you ever see me at a fiber event, do come say hi. I will come squish you and I will fawn over all the things you share. And I, of course, take pictures with you and it will be a grand old time. I will insert footage let me tell y'all, you guys, I was a very bad podcaster. Every time I kept going, oh my God, I should be taking footage for content. And then I would just immediately forget and just go back to living my best life. So there's just probably not as much as there could be, but there's definitely some. I will tell you the high point of Sunday was I wanted to try on Aimee's Foxthoughts cardigan because she was wearing it. And she's like, only if you let me try on your cardigan. So we swapped sweaters and then took a selfie, which again, probably the high point of my weekend because Aimee is so kind and so generous and just has the best fashion sense. Honestly, I need to be her in my next life. And so I got to try on her amazing Foxthoughts cardigan, which will segue to one of the... Let's just talk about yarn. So since we're talking about Aimee's Foxthoughts cardigan, I tried it on. I loved it. I loved it so much. So now I have the Yoke kit. So Aimee has kits for the Foxthoughts cardigan, and she has a bunch of different kits based on colors. And the one she was wearing was called the Aimee's Yoke bundle. And of course they had it at the Brooklyn General booth. So now I have the Aimee's Yoke bundle. I do not want to take it out this bag because if I do, I will lose it. So you're just going to have to trust me when I say I have all the colors that are in that sweater. There is a bunch of yarn in here. There's 21 mini skeins of Helix and Felix. Oh my Lord, I haven't worn jewelry in my nose in so long and I keep like rubbing at it. It's making me crazy. So there's 21 mini skeins of Helix and Felix in here to reproduce the Aimee's Yoke cardigan that she was wearing, that I got to try on. So I do have that. I did not get a main color because I have so much fingering weight yarn sitting around that I'm sure I could find something in my stash to like make up for it. But I loved her yoke progression. And so instead of trying to like mix and match, I was just like, give me that bundle. So there's that. Let's, all the yarn I bought with a plan. And again, before you get in my comments, the no-buy never applied to tools and it never applied to in-person events. I feel like I said that. Alexa, stop. Okay, before I was rudely interrupted by the robot. The no-buy never applied to in-person events and it never applied to tools. So there will not be any more yarn till I think the next in-person event I'm going to is Maryland Sheep and Wool. Which, I mean, I'm going for sheep, not for yarn. I had no intentions to get any of this stuff. I'm just going to be straight out, right? I didn't go with like, oh, I want something for this, and oh, I want something for this. There were a few places I knew I absolutely wanted to go. I wanted to go to the Hudson and West booth, and I wanted to go to the Wooldreamers booth, and everything else that happened after that was a giant accident. So, let's talk about yarn. I did go to the Wooldreamers booth, and I got some Mota. I was just talking to Andrea this morning, actually, before I started filming, and I told her I think I'm entering the deep teal era of my life. So I got some Mota to knit a Dustland shawl. So here's what it is. And these are coming out a little bit brighter on camera than they are in real life because lights. They are a little bit deeper in person. The color is called, oh, I forgot these only have numbers. This is 1526G, and this is to knit a Dustland shawl by Stephen West. It's that really fun textured shawl. Everything I got with patterns in mind because that one, it helps me figure out how much yarn to get, so I'm not getting like willy-nilly quantities of yarn and then I don't know what to do. And two, I didn't want to get any sweater quantities. I have so many, so I figured if I got a few smaller quantities of things, one, my budget could go a little bit further, and then I would actually make accessories and stop knitting all these stupid sweaters. So here's for my Dustland shawl. So I got that on Saturday, and then I went back on Sunday with my friend Judy, and I'm obsessed with these gross yellow green colors that I think most people call this like a grello. I'm obsessed with these. They look like ogre snot. Like literally that's what they look like to me. They look like snot, and I'm obsessed with these snotty colors. I don't know why, but I'm just super attracted to these weird green, yellow, gross colors. So I got a skein of fingering weight yarn. It's, oh Lord, no habla español. My parents are Panamanian. I should speak Spanish. I don't. They're bad. They were bad to me and they didn't teach us Spanish. So I think it's Dehesa de Barrera. I don't know. It's merino wool, 100% merino wool from Spain. This is their fingering weight base. The color is 0839-2, and there's 448 yards in this. So I'm thinking a Musselburgh hat. Because it's super soft. It's next to skin. It is woolen spun. It's just bouncy. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that bounce. Unacceptable. It's bouncy. It's squishy. I think this would make a beautiful Musselburgh hat. It might actually be too warm for a Musselburgh hat. We'll see. But I'm just going to knit a hat with it, which is why I got one skein. A fingering weight yarn will be perfect for a, you know, basic stockinette hat, or even maybe something with a little bit of texture. Brioche? A brioche hat? I love brioche. Maybe another brioche hat. Who knows? But I did get a single skein of this just to knit a hat and put it on my head. I think this color looks great against my skin. So the other booth that I absolutely had to go to was the Hudson and West booth. If you know, not if you've been here because I haven't talked about them much, but if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with Hudson and West. It's Corriedale yarn, just me, joy. And I've knit a whole sweater with their forage base. And I have another sweater quantity of forage on my shelf behind me. I would point it out, but I don't know where it is. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's another, gosh darn it, it's another gross ogre color. I mean, again, I can't quit these like weird brassy green yellows. This is called Old Leaf, and I have, not Old Leaf, Gold Leaf. Ooh, Gold Leaf, and I have another sweater quantity of this sitting right here. I'm going to go tuck it back. Well, I'm attempting to tuck it back where it belongs. So anyways, they were debuting their Spark base, which is their Kid Silk Mohair base at Vogue Knitting Live. So I, you know, wanted to go say hi and say hi to Sloan and Megan. And I did end up with yarn. My friend Sam. Oh my gosh, I need to stop doing that. You guys know who Sam is. My friend Sam. Samantha was actually working on a shawl that she's designing in this base. This camera is doing weird things to this color. It is not this red. It's not this red. It's like a more blue base color. Maybe I'll figure out how to color correct this in post. Maybe you'll just think it's this red. Sam was working on a shawl while we were at the booth in this yarn. And I was just like, good, just give me the yardage right now. And she's like, I'm not even finished with it. I'm like, you're going to finish it. It's going to be great. Give me the yardage. So I ended up getting yarn to knit that shawl when she's finished. It's a fun cable shawl. So I got 4 skeins of Weld in Cranberry. And then I got 2 skeins of Spark in Pinot Noir. So it's going to be these two held double. I'm trying to get out of the yellows and oranges, which I didn't 100% succeed, but I made progress. But I'm trying to get out of yellows and oranges and branch into more jewel tones, because I think that will also look really good on my skin. And then it might get me to try cool colors, because I'm not wearing pastels. Like, I'm not going to wear a pastel light blue. It's not the vibe. But I will wear a jewel tone, and I feel like I could pull it off. So I did get that. I got that on Saturday. And then I went back on Sunday, and Megan was wearing a hat, and she was knitting a hat, and it was brioche, which, how many brioche hats does Tashiana Gordon need? I don't know. But she was wearing a hat, and she was knitting a hat, and they were giving away the pattern. The pattern will eventually be available, but they were giving the pattern as like a way to like welcome the spark yarn. So I got yarn to make that hat. Again, more jewel tones, deep in my teal era. So the Weld is Mallard, and the Spark is Wetlands. So it's gonna be Weld and Spark held double. It was the squishiest brioche hat. She was wearing it in black, and she let me try it on, and I was just like, ooh, I need this hat now. And I mean, if I was a badder person, I would have tried to walk away with her hat, but I'm not that kind of person. So I, ended up with yarn to make one of my own. So the third booth I absolutely wanted to see, and then everything else after this was just, the nonsense, was Farah at Knudsen. My friend Brenna was like, oh, if you're going to Vogue Knitting Live, go say hi to Farah. She's learning to spin, and she has breed specific yarn. And I was just like, oh, you're speaking my language. So I got some CVM. This is from a single sheep named Cascade, and I got some CVM because I'm going to be knitting the Cinnabar shawl to wear to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I'm spinning the main color, and I'm spinning the contrast color, and I was going to spin the main color, but I saw this, and I've just decided to grab this so I don't have to spin the main color, because then, one, I might get it on my needles faster. As much as I love the idea of hand-spun projects, I'm also fully aware of, like, what my time constraints are, and I didn't want to use like a merino yarn for that, because I'm spinning Cormo, and so I was like, I want something really bouncy and really squishy to go with it. So this is CVM. I'm really excited about this. So I have 800 yards of 100% CVM sourced and spun in Utah, and I got to meet Farah. We talked a little bit about spinning. She just got a ladybug and is learning, which is, welcome to the Spin Fam, Farah. I hope you have the best time. So the rest of this is pure chaos and nonsense that I did not need. I mean, I didn't need any of this. Let's just be honest. We're going to talk about the extravagant purchase that I made. That I'm also like, who was she when she bought this? You ever like buy something and then you bring it back home and then you're like, what was I thinking and who was this person? Like, what little chaos monster in the back of my head took over for the 5 seconds when I bought this? That's how I feel about this purchase. So there was a little devil on my shoulder that said I needed a neon hat, and I listened. So here's the yarn. Okay, so my lights are not doing this any justice. I don't know, but this is like neon. It's neon. This is the Wandering Flock, which I did not know was dyed in Brooklyn, which is how I ended up with this yarn, because I was just like, oh, I gotta go get the Brooklyn yarn. Are you kidding? So this is a merino single. This is a singles. Oh, I didn't realize this was a singles when I got it. This is a merino singles, 400 yards, and then this is, you know, silk mohair, 430 yards in the color Yollo, which is the other reason I got it. But, I mean, do I need a neon hat? No. Am I going to make it? I'm really mad that this camera is doing this to this yarn, because it is not doing, it's not the camera, it's the lights. I'll have to post a picture of this on, like, Instagram, but it is neon. It's highlighter yellow. So I'm thinking of the Sari Nordland Robin beanie. It's the beanie that she was wearing that she made in the highlighter pink after she saw Justin Bieber wearing a highlighter pink beanie. I'm not going to wear highlighter pink, but I will wear highlighter yellow. And when I walked to the booth, they had a sample of the Oslo hat that was this color combination, and I was just like, please just give it to me now. So neon hat. I was actually going to start this, and then I was like, no, I have to, like, you know, film the podcast. So the only reason that this is not caked up and already on my needles is because I wanted to show it to you first. But now that you've seen it, which you actually probably, it's making me sad that the lights are doing weird things to it and you can't properly appreciate it. But now that you've properly seen it, it's getting caked up tonight. Because this is going to be my, like, miscellaneous project between all the sweater whips. It's just, you know, doing some ribbing until I get a neon hat. How many hats does one person need? I mean, I like hats, so apparently a lot. Speaking of hats, I did get, I've been wanting some yarn from Loop Threads. Is it Loop Threads? It's Loop Fiber Studio. It's not Loop Threads. Loop Fiber Studio, since I saw Kristen at Woolen Vine share that she got some at Rhinebeck. And so they had their yin and yang line, and the yin and yang line is it's a 3-ply marl where 2 plies are one color, so it'll like be like 2 plies of color A, 1 ply of color B, and then the paired version would be 2 plies of color B, 1 ply of color A. And so there were 200 yards, so I got 2 skeins to make matching hats for my sister and I. So I'm gonna make another Harlow worsted, and here we go. Here's the yarn. And I'm going to make 2 because since there's 400 yards and I only used 200 yards in my last Harlow worsted, I can make one for me and one for my sister, and we can have matching hats. So we'll see. We'll see. That's what I'm going to do. I just don't know when. I mean, I could probably do it for Christmas because, like, do we need a brioche hat right now? How many brioche hats? So many brioche hats. I'm just jazzed about this to have matching hats with my sister. Also, this is the only... I'm lying. I was going to say this is the only orange yarn that I got, but that's not true. I tried my best to not keep getting orange yarn. I love the idea of these two together. I was in this booth for probably 20 minutes trying to decide on a colorway, and it was very hard to pick one. It was very hard to pick one because I love them. There was also a goldenrod one, and I was just like, Tashi, stop getting the yellow and the orange yarn. Go get something else, and I ended up with orange yarn, so... Listen, I like what I like, and I'm not going to, I was talking to someone about this like idea of like chasing something new, and it's just like maybe sometimes, but also like why? Like if you chase a new thing and you don't like the new thing when you get it, then who did you do a service to? Nobody. So orange yarn. Orange yarn. Speaking of orange yarn, I got to meet Shannon of J'adore Fibers because that's where Salt Lake Knitty and Andrea was hanging out. And they're always talking about J'adore Fibers, and I've never tried her yarn, but I got to meet her and I got to walk around her booth, and her style is amazing. Her yarn colors was amazing. I had a great time. So I did get some yarn from J'adore Fibers. So this is her Luminous DK. Yes, and it's merino and silk, and it's superwash merino. A lot of this is superwash merino, which, you know, feelings. But it's also hard to get like punchy colors if you don't get the superwash merino. So I kind of understand why it's necessary. Like I wouldn't be able to get neon yellow if it wasn't on a superwash base. I kind of get it. it's not my jam all the time, but some of it was really nice. So this is her Luminous DK base, which is silk and superwash merino in the color Pumpkin Glow. Again, orange yarn. And Megan was wearing a Pillars of Simplicity t-shirt because I was telling her that I wanted to do like a summer tee. This is the only garment quantity I got, and it's not, you know, it's a small amount of DK weight yarn. But she was wearing a Pillars of Simplicity, and I was like, and Shannon had a sample of this color knit up in her booth, and it had beautiful drape because of the silk in it, and it had sparkle, and I was just like, this is a great project to just show off the color and the just general sheen of this yarn. So this is going to be one of my summer projects. I mean, is it realistic to wear wool in summer even if there is silk in it? Probably not, but I could wear it late summer, early fall. And it's like, it's a DK weight t-shirt knit on like US 7s. So it's going to be a pretty quick knit. I think it's like 800 yards is what I needed. What's the yardage of this? Yeah, it was like 800 yards. So I have this, which I'm really pleased about. I love the color of this. I think this is very much right up my alley, and you're getting the sheen from the silk. It's just absolutely beautiful. And Shannon was absolutely beautiful. It was a joy to meet her, and to meet a new dyer. Oh, and there was one more thing I got at the Wandering Flock. I was like, I knew there was something I was missing. So, is it Herb Garden? Herb Garden's working on this like DK weight chainmail vest that I don't have the time to, you know, to test, but I really want to knit. And then I walked over to the Wandering Flock, and she had this yarn, which, how do I show it to you? Let's see, how do I do this? This is called Driftwood, and it has speckles, and I normally don't knit with speckles. Are you gonna see those speckles? It has like, it's like a neutral base, but it has dark blue and yellow speckles. And I normally don't knit with a speckled yarn, but something about this just felt right. So I got three skeins of this to knit that vest. It's called Chainmail. It's called Chainmail by Herb Garden Knitwear, and it's still in testing. I got this because Megan had it. Megan's bad for me. Megan had it, and she was telling me that she just got it, and she was like, oh, and she's almost sold out of it, and I was just like, So I have some of it. It looks just like, you know, neutral yarn up here, but it was the blue speckles that did it for me. It is superwash, but I did get to feel a few samples of it, and it didn't feel plasticky. So we'll see how knitting with this goes. I'm gonna cake up one. I'm gonna see how knitting with it goes, and if it doesn't go, I will, you know, there's nothing wrong with rehoming yarn or destashing or what have you. But I did everything that I got that was superwash merino. I did squish it and squish samples of it before, you know, committing, because I have the weird sensitivity things. I did get some Suri to try. I've never knit with Suri, so I did get some Suri to try. I want to knit the Pelto cowl. So I went to Camellia Fiber Company, and I did get some Suri. I've never knit with Suri. I normally knit with Mohair. I don't have sensitivity to Suri, to Mohair, so I can knit with Mohair. But I just thought it would be fun to have like something else in my wheelhouse. And I know Suri tends to knit at a heavier gauge than Mohair does, so we'll see. So I have one of Bisque and one of Carnation, because I'm going to hold them together and marl them, because I couldn't pick one. This is what I was doing. I was like standing in the booth like this. And I couldn't pick one, so I got one of each to marl them. And then my last purchase was, I went to the Mayak booth, and I got, what is this? Their Baby Yak. And this is their, what base is this? I'm assuming this is just their Baby Yak, their Baby Yak lace base, but I got some Baby Yak to knit the Ziggy shawl by, Hohi Locatelli. And yes, it is orange. I know, more orange yarn, but it's just, I was squishing it, and I was just like, I almost got like olive green, which again is another color in my wheelhouse. I was not tempted by any of the other colors, and there were some bright, punchier colors, and I kept looking at this color, and the lovely lady at the booth was like, if this is what's calling to you, just get what's calling to you. And I was like, thank you for encouraging me to do the thing that makes me happy. So I got 4 skeins of this. This is the toffee colored, and this is going to be to knit a Ziggy shawl. I want by the end of the year to have 3 shawls. So right now I have Dustland, Ziggy, and Cinnabar. And then anything else that happens if I get like a cowl or something. But I don't have any shawls, and I think I don't really enjoy wearing I will wear a wool sweater, but I feel like I would much rather wear a t-shirt with a a shawl thrown on top than wearing like a whole sweater. So I kind of want to get some accessories like into my library. So that's it as far as yarn purchases. There's one thing I did get that I want to share with you. So I did get, I have to get really close to this. I did get a stitch marker necklace from Sassafras Knits. The cool part is like this little thing opens and I do have a bunch of stitch markers around my neck. But I have been wearing it as a necklace. Sam's been wearing it and really enjoys it, so I really wanted one. So I have a necklace of stitch markers. And then I did get this t-shirt from the Starlight Knitting Society, which is a shop out. Oh my god, the Starlight Knitting Society was probably my favorite booth, and I didn't get any yarn. I got a t-shirt. I was just hanging out there and like talking shop and just having, I can't walk past something with the word Starlight in it and not immediately be engrossed. It's like very much on brand. So I did get a t-shirt from the Starlight Knitting Society, and I told them that I was going to film my next podcast episode in it because I loved it. It just has, it has a little lady friend sitting on a moon and she's knitting. And I love it. So that was VKL. Again, thank you so much to everyone who said hello to me and who made that weekend magical for me. I had the best time. It was a blur. It was a bigger blur than I realized now that I'm looking at all the stuff that was on the ground. It was a blur. So there's that. I'm not going to do Ask Tashi this week because I didn't get any questions in the last set of comments that I could answer. And I went and I looked at the last video and I also didn't see any real spinning questions. So if you do have a burning spinning question, leave it in the comments below and I might ask it. I might not ask it. I might answer it. I might answer it in an upcoming video. So there's that. We will talk about the thing that's bringing me joy. The thing that's bringing me joy that's not spinning related is the Worlds Beyond Number podcast, which I waxed about extensively, but 2 episodes have dropped since the last time, and y'all, I will literally rip my heart out my chest and give it to Lou Wilson for Ursulon. Like, literally bleeding heart, and just give it, y'all, I have feelings. I just cannot wait for Brennan to break my heart with these episodes. Like, I mean, I love the idea of the children's adventure, but also I want them to be protected and coddled forever, and I know that's not going to happen. I'm very sad and very excited, and I'm just ready to go. The thing that's bringing me joy spinning related is the spinning empire persists. The spinsterhood continues to grow. The spindlehood beckons. It's just every day I pop on and someone else is just like, I just got a new wheel. I'm learning how to spin. And I'm just like, yes. I feel like someone like told me I was building a fiber cult. And for a second I was just like, but does that feel good? And then again, it felt great. So everybody who's learning to spin now, welcome to the Spinsterhood. Welcome to the Spindlehood. If you're picking up a spindle, if you're picking up a wheel, whatever, the wool empire must persist. The cat overlords demand that we, further the agenda. And I'm just so happy that so many people are learning to spin. This brings me so much joy. This whole hobby, this craft, everything else. And so the idea that other people are trying it and that they're no longer, afraid to give it a go just makes me so happy. I'm so glad. Like I helped Taylor get a wheel. So Taylor at Wool Needle Hands is spinning. I talked to Casey about spinning. Casey at Young Folk Knits. My friend Cece at Stitch Witch Craft. We are this close. We are this close to getting Cece a wheel. This close. I was like, Cece, at one point I was like, Cece, send me your address. And we had to do a little bit of a tussle, but I got it, you guys. So the goods are going in the mail. It's just, everyone who's joining the Spinsterhood, welcome to the family. There is more than enough room for you here and for you to make yarn that brings you joy. We are going to eventually have to have t-shirts. It's happening. We're going to have t-shirts. They're all going to say witty things. I got called a Spinfluencer, so there's going to be a t-shirt that says Spinfluencer, and then there's going to be her sister t-shirt that says I've been Spinfluenced, because the amount of people who are Spinfluencing me, you think I'm bad, you should catch the people in my social circle. I mean, do you not see all the wool on the floor? I am Spinfluenced all the time. So there's going to be t-shirts. There's going to be stuff at some point. But that's it. This is episode 7. I remembered this time and I looked it up. That's it for episode 7 of the podcast. If you watch this all in one sitting, you're the realest MVP. I love you. If you watch this all in 2 sittings, you're also the realest MVP, and good for you for doing the things that, take care of you and bring you joy and not like sitting in front of YouTube for an hour and a half. Just good for you. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks with the next things that I've been making, provided the cat overlords allow. And that's it. I love you. Go make something fun today.